Soul Tribe, friends and family, Venus lovers, how are you guys doing? It's Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. I'm excited to bring you this video. I called it the Finger of God, not because I'm trying to do anything religious here, but there's a very interesting aspect in the coming full moon, which is a worm moon. Okay. It's called a yod, and the yod, the shape in a chart, is formed by three different aspects, and they call it the finger of fate or the finger of God. So I thought it'd be interesting to look at that a little bit. So you guys are doing good. I'm doing great. I am about 2 weeks left to go in my current job, and then I have 2 weeks off for the eclipse, and then I start my new job. And things are just really coming together. I'm feeling really guided. I love, absolutely love doing this astrology for you guys. It's for you. It helps me live a guided life. And so, whatever I can share with you to help you do the same thing, that's what I'm trying to do here. So, that having been said, if anything I say in this video doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Move on. It's fine. What I'm going to do is talk to you first about the significance of worms. I thought that might be a cool little rabbit hole to go down. It'll be about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to show you a yod. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you what it means in astrology and how we work with it. It's a dynamic aspect. It's super interesting. After that, we are going to talk about the lunar eclipse and the aspects that are being made. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it to you through the houses as well. Okay. I'm going to give you a challenge, and then I'm going to give you your mission for wherever Virgo is in your constellational chart. And I believe it's Libra for the tropical astrologers. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that was my update. So this is a worm moon. What does a worm moon mean? Well, the reason it's called a worm moon is because in the Farmer's Almanac, this is the time of year where the worms come up from the ground, and they, start to eat and consume all the decaying material from the previous winter. So I thought it'd be really interesting to look at the spiritual significance of worms. And I found some really interesting things. One of the things that we look at is the energy of life from death. So, like we talked about, the decaying energy of winter, all the detritus and leaves and branches that are dead and no longer thriving, they're mixed up into the soil. They become a compost that these little worms eat, and then the worms become food for other animals. Um, the other thing about worms is that they're a sign of fertility too, because worms inherently are hermaphroditic. They've got both sex organs, male and female. And so whenever they reproduce, it's up to them. So it's self reproduction. It's super interesting. Also, they're regenerative. So if you, earthworms anyway, if you cut off their tail will grow back. You can't cut them up into segments. You can do that with a different kind of worm, but with the roundworms, the ones in the ground that we see in the springtime, if you cut off their tail, it will regrow. So we have, life from death, we have regeneration, we have reproductive choice and fertility. And then there's an ancient Indian feeling about worms where they go from one plane of existence to the other when the rains come down. So they go from earth to water. And I just think it's super interesting because if you look in the constellations, the sun's going to be in Pisces and the moon's going to be in Virgo. So you have a water sign and an earth sign. So we're coming, and the south node is in the earth, which is where we come from, and the north node is in Pisces, which is water, which is where we're going. Okay. So I just thought that was really synchronous and interesting. So if you guys want to, dive into that a little more, just Google the spiritual significance of worms. All right. Let me just briefly talk to you guys about, I'll share my screen and we'll talk about the yod in astrology, finger of fate or the finger of God. So here it is. I basically put a little PowerPoint slide together for you guys. I'm going to get my pen out. And what you see here is aspect lines. So what an aspect means is the relationship that planets are making with each other. In this particular chart, we're going to have Jupiter with Uranus And we're going to have Venus with Saturn. And then down here, we're going to have the South Node. And then a day after the full moon, the moon's going to move into this space. So what this means is that there's a sextile between these two planets. So this is the skill. So if this is in your birth chart, this is a great way to interpret a yod in your chart. The sextile indicates the skill that you have, the energy between these two planets. The challenge comes from what's called the quincunx. So I think this is like 60 degrees, I want to say. This is 150 degrees. And so the challenge is bringing the energy of, let's say, Jupiter in Aries with the South Node in Virgo and what that energy means. There's usually a subtle tension that's very hard to ignore with a quincunx. And in medical astrology, the quincunx is huge. Like, it's actually a more important aspect than even a square. So the two challenges are bringing this skill to bear with this challenge. And so the mission is here. Okay. Now, in the chart that we're working with for the full moon, the lunar eclipse, we've got what's called a boomerang yod. And so not only do you have the original pointed finger, you've also got a opposition between Chiron, which is next to the North Node up here. So you have Chiron and North Node with Moon and South Node down here. So you get skill, challenge, mission, and then action, reaction. Okay. And when we look at the chart, I'll go into that a little bit more. I brought this graphic forward into the actual chart. So the interesting thing about yods is that a yod is traditionally known as the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's also the smallest. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert. This is just stuff I, looked up. And in Jewish mystical traditions, the yod represents a dot, a divine point of energy. It's the spark or the spirit of everything that comes down to earth. Okay? So a person born with a yod in their chart, a lot of astrologers consider them spiritual warriors or fated or guide people that have a lot of problems when they first start out. But then once they get through their challenges, they know their mission and the universe typically supports them in a big way. So we're going to see what that looks like on a chart very shortly. While I'm getting myself together here, I just wanted to give you guys a couple of announcements. I still have my 2024 natal chart and eclipse forecast reading available. I'll leave a link down there. But I'm also going to launch a new reading for those of you that want to do just the solar eclipse on the 8th. It's going to be, it's called the Flash Solar Eclipse Quick Read. It's going to be like a 30, 45-minute video analyzing that new moon solar eclipse against your natal placements. You'll get a recording that you can download and a PDF of your chart with a multi-wheel chart of the eclipse. And then I will also do a intention activation at the end of your video based on what I see in your chart, what intentions I think that you should set in order to use this eclipse energy for your highest possible timeline. It's a little bit cheaper because we're getting closer to the eclipse and I want to help as many of you as possible. So I will leave a link below for you there. Let's look at space real quick because I want y'all to see where this moon is so you don't think I'm crazy. But that's okay if you think I'm crazy. Lunatic, right? Mental illness. Here's the moon in the constellation of Virgo. Now, I know that constellational astrology and tropical astrology are different. Tropical astrology is a derivation of actual astronomy, and it divides the sky into 12 equal slices. The constellations are not 12 equal slices. So as a result, you've got different positions in the sky. Now, should you read a Libra moon right now? I don't know. That's up to you. It just takes it gives it a more of a simplistic energy for me if I just look at the sky and see the moon in Virgo. So there it is, right smack dab in the middle of Virgo on the 25th of March. Okay, so that is space. Oh, let me show you the sun too, because that's important also. So we'll just move this ahead a few hours so you can see the sun. Here it comes. There's the sun in Pisces. Okay, so that's why I'm talking of a Virgo Pisces axis for this full moon. Now you're welcome to read it as, Libra, Aries if you want to, but for me, it's just simpler. All right, let's look at the chart. Okay, so what is a full moon, right? It's a time to release. It's a time of the harvest. So the energy of the new moon, the intentions are set, and then when we get to the full moon, it's time to let go. It's time to say, okay, that's manifested. Now it's time to let go. And a lot of times people have rituals around the full moon that help them pray for, let go of the things that they want to change or things that they want to see happen in their life. I got this cool little candle from my aunt. She makes beeswax and soy candles, and she made it specifically for this lunar eclipse. So I'm just going to light that while we hang out and talk. It smells amazing. It's got lemon, sage, and patchouli in it. So I'm going to leave a link to her website if you guys want to check out her candles. They are amazing. They're environmentally friendly. She does a lot of stuff locally, and she's getting bigger and bigger. So grab those candles while they are a good price. Let's see. So here we've got the sun in Pisces, and we've almost to the lunar nodes. That'll be when we get to the eclipse. So it's right here, conjunct the IC at this time frame. And then the moon is up here, conjunct the midheaven. Let me move that little bar right there because it is in my way. All right. So what is a sun in Pisces, right? So this is basically, it's considered a time of healing. It's a time to regain strength and before we start anew. The Pisces sun makes it a lot easier for us to tap into our intuition, follow our instincts. It's a time to dream, it's a time to rest, and it's a time to surrender to something greater than ourselves. And I really believe that. The energy of the North Node in Pisces for me has always been about our collective evolution towards universal love and oneness. With Chiron right there, it speaks to our collective healing, integrating our collective wounds, sort of letting go of the past where we're always warring and fighting with each other and, just highlighting our differences between each other. It doesn't matter. Our differences are amazing. That's what makes us unique and interesting. And so it's time to embrace uniqueness. It's time to embrace differentness and, not worry about the color of our meat suit or what we believe in or how, what we believe happens to us after we die, those sorts of things. And then a moon in Virgo is actually a super rational moon. And so any emotions that you're feeling with a Virgo moon in general, it's easier to process this energy. But at the same time, with that Pisces sun in opposition, it's going to be asking you to surrender instead. So stop trying to make it about a process. So you're going to feel a little bit conflicted in this energy. Like you want to tidy up things, streamline things, make things, think things through, but you just might not be able to. You might be very sleepy. You might have a lot of just, sublime energy going around, and it's super hard to be analytical and rational in that energy. So there, and then that's where the nodes are. So we're feeling all of that. There are two other aspects that I want to talk about that are not part of the Yod. It's the sun sextiling Pluto in Capricorn, and then the moon trining on Pluto. Okay, these two aspects are happening, and then we're going to dive into that Yod and see what that means, and then we'll do the houses. So sun and Pluto are sextiling, and then Pluto is trining on the moon. So let's talk about that. Sun sextiling Pluto gives us a drive to succeed. Some people feel very determined and purposeful, and you can use your sort of drive and obsession towards it you can harness that to complete a difficult task. This applies to anything that's broken or no longer helpful in your life, from like a messy room to a bad habit. So if you're feeling that tug for Virgo, you can actually use a little bit of Pluto to help you sort of do that. It also is going to, with a Pluto sextile your sun, it's going to increase your level of attraction, attractiveness. It can be sexual, but it can be also a mysterious just magnetism to it. So once you become aware of this power that can be felt, people are going to look to you for the answers. They're going to look to you as a leader. The the only thing about a sextile is it's an opportunity. So opportunities mean you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. So you don't want to misuse this sense of empowerment. The next time that Pluto and the Sun sextile, which will be several months from now when the Sun is actually here in Libra, like later on this year, um, if you use your power for abuse right now, what you're going to notice is that it's going to like slingshot back at you later this year when it is in the backward sextile. Okay, so don't misuse this gift. It can result in self-destruction next time. Okay, so or if the next time you have something square onto your Pluto on your Pluto, it can come back to you. But if you use it to help people, to empower people, you will find that you gain the benefits as well. So this also deepens your interest in solving mysteries, learning about occult subjects, and studying personal interactions from a psychological perspective. Okay. So the moon also trines Pluto. This is going to increase your emotional sensitivity and psychic perception. You'll feel things more powerfully and are likely to be transformed by your intense emotions. Intimate relationships can also undergo a very positive regeneration. Someone is likely to move you or deeply influence you. And these connections might result in new relationships that feel karmic. Um, Subconscious communication is also possible with the moon here, moon and Pluto, and it can even extend to sexual encounters. You might experience desires to the extreme and might want to even explore the darker side of life and taboo areas. There is also a little bit of psychic protection with moon, Pluto in a trine. Um, you also can access your subconscious deep dark areas. This is a great time to purge that. The moon is in a full position asking you to purge and get rid of and shed before this new moon total solar eclipse happens. All right, but be careful of obsessive or compulsive behaviors or feelings. If you're truly obsessed about someone and they have the same about you, you guys are, it's going to click, okay? So if there's someone that you're like crushing on big time and they're crushing on you, you guys are going to have deep and profound interactions and connections. So all in all, very nice energy, very nice energy. Let's talk about this Yod. Okay, so we'll break it down. So remember in the slide, we talked about these points of energy here. In this chart, it's upside down from what we looked at on the slide. And it doesn't matter which directions it's pointing, because depending on where you are in the world, it could be pointing down. But essentially what we got is this finger. That's why we call it the finger of fate or the finger of God. And you got your, I'm going to try to draw a very straight line here with this pen, but it's goofy. Oh my gosh. It's wiggly. Oh my God. I'm just laughing at myself, drawing like a child. Here we go. Okay. So here's your basic Yod structure. Okay. And you've got South Node here. A day after this moon, after this full moon, the moon will move into this space right here. And I feel like it's going to activate the Yod. So you're getting a day's advanced warning about this energy. Over here, you have Saturn and Venus. And then over here, you have Jupiter and Uranus. Now, some astrologers say that these aspects should be really tight within 3 degrees, and I think they're all really, really close. So it'll benefit to talk about all of this. And then the Boomerang Yod with the action and reaction, you have Sun or North Node and Chiron right here, and then the South Node. So skill here, the challenge is here to incorporate this. The action is going to be moon south node, and the reaction is going to be, or your mission is down here with the action that goes with the mission, and then the reaction is in the north node. And what this feels like to me is literally evolutionary co-creation. And so when I go through your houses, what I'm going to do is give you your challenge, and then I'm going to give you your mission. And that will help you sort of push you along the path so you can kind of figure out what you need to let go of during this full moon and what intentions you may need to set for the next new moon. All right. So what is the energy of Venus and Saturn? Venus and Saturn. So Saturn is the lesson bringer. He's our teacher. He attains enlightenment by realizing he builds his own prisons. And Venus is the beautiful divine spark of creation and inspiration inside of our hearts. And so, what lessons can Saturn bring to that energy inside of you? And how do you co-create that in the constellation of Aquarius? You know, you do that with others. You develop structures with others that allow both of you to come through and bring that energy to the collective. And then over here, over on the other side here in Aries, you've got Jupiter and Uranus. As they approach, time is going to speed up a little bit. Unexpected events are going to happen. But in general, this energy is an expansive faith in the unique expression of yourself, because Aries is the I am. It's the head start. It's the bursting forth into new ventures. And Uranus energy truly supports that, no matter how weird it is. So go ahead and let that freak flag fly. Whatever unexpected comes at you, welcome it with open arms. And then we've got the South Node, North Node axis. I've already talked about North Node and Chiron in Pisces, but what does that South Node in Virgo mean? And I really feel like this is, and as I talk with other astrologers, it becomes apparent to me that it is the healing of the divine feminine, and it's the healing of our ancestral mother line. We've been a very patriarchal society, and I'm not putting men down at all. I love men. I love my sacred masculine. And we need that. We need a balance of it. But right now it's imbalanced. We go from one extreme to the other. We go from, the patriarchy abusing and selling women to the highest bidder to this extreme toxic femininity. And it's not working for either of us, And so we're used to that energy. That's what we've been dealing with through our ancestral line. And it's really now time to heal that, let that go, find a balance of these two energies, move towards collective one, universal love and oneness and collective healing. All right. So that's in general the Yod. Okay. All right. Yeah. So 24 hours later, that moon's going to activate this Yod. So in the 26th, you guys will be feeling this. All right, you guys, we're going to jump into the houses. I just want to let you know on the 1st of April, Mercury's going into retrograde, and I've been inspired to do my next live class. It'll be a seminar on the magic and the mystery of Mercury. Okay. It'll be in honor of this retrograde energy because Mercury will be moving through Pisces with the eclipse energy. And I'm going to have more time. So it'll actually probably be an evening seminar during one of the weekday nights. And so those of you that are in Europe and Australia and Singapore can join this class, hopefully. All right. If you guys don't know where Constellational Virgo is in your chart, there is a link below to go to my website and generate a free natal chart. It'll be right there on the website. You just find the constellation of Virgo and then look what house it's in for you. In this particular chart, it's in the 10th house, but it could be over here. It could be in your 6th house. So look where this is, because that's the energy I'm reading for you. I'm reading for you your mission and your challenge. Okay. So if, for example, the moon and Virgo are in your 1st house, that means that Uranus and Jupiter are in your 8th house and that Venus and Saturn are in your 6th house. Okay. And so I'm going to read that challenge for you. But 1st house Virgo, stick around because we're going to get into that. Okay. So if you're tropical and you follow tropical astrology, this energy is in Libra, but the houses will still be the same. And so if you have Libra in 1st house, Uranus and Jupiter will still be in your 8th house, and Venus and Saturn will still be in your 6th house. And then the Yod just kind of turns around the chart as we go. Okay. So let me clear my drawings. Let me stop sharing and we will get into it. Okay. The 1st house, the house of the self, the I am. The challenge here in the 1st house with this finger of fate is to express the new true you, to expand into this transformation. Your job, the challenge is to let go of the critical feelings from others and about yourself. These feelings can be so deep and entrenched that they may affect your health. You might even feel like there's something intrinsically wrong with you. But listen, there isn't. You are perfect exactly the way you were made. And so your mission is to tap into your innate empathy. This energy of empathy is so guided that if you are willing to let spirit guide you, you will literally be tapped into your creative mastery. 2nd house, the house of values. The challenge for you might be taking your things away, might be, let me start over. The second house, the house of values. The challenge for you, you might be taking your things, your stuff way too seriously. You might be fearful that if things aren't done your way, that those things or you will lose their intrinsic value. So stop projecting your self-worth onto things and blaming others for your feeling of lack. The mission is to begin valuing the relationships of others. This is done through nurturing compassion of other selves and a willingness to surrender. There's a great deal of wisdom and faith in who you are, and this will strengthen your bonds, and abundance will follow this. So let go of things and work with nurturing compassion with people. Third house, the house of thought, the house of your mind, the house of communication. The challenge with this Yod, you rely very much on speaking and being heard. Sometimes walking the walk is more important than explaining it. So try to stop overthinking and overanalyzing things, situations, and people. This can lead to misleading and inauthentic speech where you try to control people. So your mission is to walk the walk. Get out and do something aligned with who you truly are. This may require some silence on your part, and when you feel the need to speak or criticize, just let it go. Let it roll off your shoulders like water on a duck. The fourth house, the house of emotions and the house of your soul. The challenge here is questions. I'm asking you questions because no one can really know another's soul. Where do you belong? Who do you take care of? And why do you do it? Who are you really deep down inside yourself? Do you have a faith in the unseen or the unknown part of you? Your inner guide is waiting patiently at the center of your heart. The mission here is to forgive whatever part of yourself you feel is unworthy of love and security. Take that inner child, give him or her a big hug, tell them it's going to be okay, and bring them out into the sun. This will magnetize the people of your soul tribe to surround you and support you. The fifth house, the house of expression, the house of joy, romance, and children. The challenge for the fifth house, you might be very calculating in the game of life, constant analyzing the other person's next move, what their motivations are, and how you can beat them. Or you might take nothing seriously because if you do, you will expose your weaknesses. The mission for you is to let go of the game and just play for the sake of playing. Enjoy the innocence and wonderment of every moment. Surrender to the outcome, win or lose, because there's something to learn and cherish in every outcome. The sixth house, the house of service and the house of health. The challenge here for you is that your energy might be feeling very drained. You have literally overcommitted yourself with excellent intentions, but the results leave you uninspired and fearful of taking actions to change it. Stop making excuses and worrying that you'll offend somebody. This is a statement called Physician, Heal Thyself. The mission for you is to ask for help, and when help is offered, graciously accept it. Moreover, meditate and sit with spirit on the difference between being in service and being in servitude. Service should light you up. Servitude drains your energy. So find inspiration in true service and find out how that looks for you. The seventh house, the house of projections and partnerships. The challenge for you in this space is projections from your subconscious may be bubbling up to the surface, forcing you to face your fears. Do you keep looking out the window, wondering when you should be focused on something else? Are you feeling insecure in your relationships? At the same time, wondering, is the other person truly happy? Wondering if they're all in? These fears manifest in the form of questions to the other self that you are with right now. So the mission for you is when you find yourself questioning what others value in your shared energy, take a moment to ask yourself the same questions, because it may be you that's changing. You may be the one that's discontent. Instead of projection, try to reflect on your happiness and if it is truly being fulfilled in the partnership. The eighth house, the house of transformation. The challenge in the eighth house is that this energy needs a surrender in order to manifest as healing. People and your situation seem to be letting you down right now, and it's not going at all like you expected. This manifests almost like a terror that you're losing your grip. Virgo likes to grab hold and analyze, but the true power here is to not hold on tight. So, the mission, if all you can do is breathe right now, that is all it will take. You will not lose yourself, but you do need to let go. If you can meditate and connect with spirit, you will be comforted and you will be guided. Avoid mind altering substances until the eclipse passes and journal all of your thoughts and feelings. Little sip of water here. The ninth house, the house of belief. The challenge is that everything you have set your faith into is about to change. The things you value and the place you call home and the way that you do things. As the earth raises her vibration in the coming months and years, all things of the earth, including us, are being called to level up. Things that brought us comfort will necessarily fade away. Belief systems will no longer provide the solace we crave. So the mission here is to trust in this process and let it lead you to your highest timeline. The world, your reality, it's here for your benefit. Allow things that do not resonate with your higher vibration to fall away and to fall into their proper place. While it might not be obvious why, the answers will come in divine timing. The 10th house, the house of your calling and the house of your public image. The challenge here is you might be falling into the trap of pleasing people so that they will love you or find you invaluable. This tends to put you in a position of being used because of the lengths that you will go. This might be on the short term, make you feel like you're helpful, but in reality, it will drain your energy and take away the spotlight your big heart truly deserves. The mission here, look to where your sun is. This is likely the energy of your true calling. Wherever your sun sign is, that's the place where your efforts to help and serve will be fulfilled. This is where you can express yourself authentically and call those around you that you magnetize to yourself family. The 11th house, the house of the soul tribe, innovations and inspirations. The challenge here is there's a feeling of discontentment with how you and your tribe are resonating. You feel a responsibility to them, yet would rather be alone, sometimes forcing yourself to do the right thing because you promised you would do it. This drains your life force, leaving you feeling uncreative and uninterested. You would almost rather be alone. The mission here is to break your patterns. Instead of agreeing to everything, do something different. Take yourself to a movie or learn something new without your tribe. Talk to a stranger, start a new group or join a new group. This will raise your frequency and invite new tribes into your field, a new group to call home. The 12th house, the house of dreams. The challenge here, you might have been sleeping a lot, having trouble breaking free from emotionally numbing behaviors. Maybe you're stuck in a rut and feel isolated. You might have some buried emotions that desperately want to break out and come to the surface, and your physical body can no longer tolerate this. The mission for you, when another person reaches out to you, let them in. This is a version of you reaching out to help you. Pay attention to your dreams and share them for others to interpret. Also, fast from distractions and anything that takes your focus away from your subconscious. All right, guys, those are the houses. Thank you so much. Namaste.